Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. So for those long-term subscribers, you will know that about a year ago I embarked on this mission to look for a lithium battery for my scat pack here that would allow me to reduce weight and like kind of use the battery a little bit more robustly, where I can drain it down. I can use my dash cam because this car has been through 3 batteries. I don't know why it eats batteries. I put a brand new Optima in there. It killed the factory battery. Then I put another battery and that's what it's on now. So I don't know, this car likes to eat batteries. Maybe it's my dash cam, maybe it's whatever else, maybe it's something I'm doing. But anyway, the whole idea was that you get a lithium battery that can handle the discharge over and over and over and still live. So with that being said, some of the main issue that I ran into is the heat. So if you're in somewhere where it's not as hot, the underhood temperatures and the temperatures that the battery will have to endure aren't really the same. So there's a lot more options if you don't have to have heat. So there's only very few batteries. There's actually only one that I know of, the one that I was able to acquire, that can handle the extreme heat of Houston, like sitting under the hood of a car and just kind of handle everyday life in all conditions, mostly the heat, without dying. So most of these batteries have like a BMS that shut them off at 140, 145 degrees. This one shuts it off at, I don't know what it is, but I'll put it up on the screen. It's a lot higher, and it should be able to handle all the temperatures in Houston and everywhere we go. I've ran this battery in the cold and everything, and actually right now it's in my Pilot. So I put a lithium battery in my Pilot a while back, and it was the same deal where I don't drive this car very often, so I put that in too. So I don't drive the Pilot very often, so I didn't want to run into problems where it sits there, the battery's dead. So I put the lithium battery in it. I don't know, it was like a year ago maybe. I've been really impressed with it. I left the lights on once. I think all the interior lights and the battery had shut off. So once it gets to like 11 volts or something like that, I'll put it all up on the screen, but it shuts off. So it has a BMS that handles kind of everything. Make sure it doesn't get too low, make sure it doesn't get too high, make sure it doesn't draw too much current. Like if you short the battery terminals, it'll turn off the battery. So the BMS manages everything pretty good. I think the amp hour rating on the battery is like 25, 30, but that figure has kind of been a little confusing to me, because I would hear a lot of people in like the RV community and stuff, where they care about lithium batteries and stuff, would say that a lithium battery is really good for double the amp hour rating that it's rated for. So if you have a 30 amp hour lithium battery, it should perform as good as a 60-hour normal battery. And the reason for that is because with the lithium battery, you can drain it all the way and then drain it all the way up. And with the normal batteries, you got to be really careful that you don't drain them too low, because if you drain them too low, then they won't work. And you'll damage them for life and they will be no good. So the lithium battery doesn't have any such problem. Obviously, just like any other lithium battery in a Tesla or anything else, they work best if you keep them full, like any other battery. But if you do discharge it, you hurt the life of the battery, of course, but not to the level where it's gonna not work. I mean, this battery should last years. And I've been using it for a while, so I'm actually impressed. So today what I'm gonna be doing is we're gonna check out the battery, and I'm gonna put one in my wife's Challenger. So we're gonna be upgrading her battery to a lithium. Hopefully the battery's good enough to crank the car and all that. And that'll be the second part of the test to make sure that battery will handle a 392, and we'll let her run it for a while, and then maybe I'll put one in my car. So before we proceed, I just wanted to show the battery that is in this guy, just to prove that it actually does have a LiLead lithium battery. You can see it in there, all nestled in there, and it installed pretty easily. I think I made a video on this. I'll link to it in the description, but it's just a lithium battery, not too much to it. 12 volts, it can handle all the underhood stuff, it can handle normal alternator charging. So that's what I was looking for, one that would kind of do everything, handle all the temps, handle all the heat, just take a licking and keep on ticking. And so far it has done it. I will say the Pilot is probably a lot easier on demand and on draw and on cranking than this will be, so this will be a really good experiment for the battery. All right, so just going to show you what the battery comes with. It comes with some spacers for different applications where you can add padding to the side of it. So then it has this universal stand. So this is stuff that I sell on my store. So I have these available on my store. I think I have them for $6.99, which is actually a really good price because I'm including the adapter, because I feel like most people wouldn't be able to use it without the adapter, because this adapter allows it to work with a variety of different batteries or battery types, like different cars. Because the battery itself is really small and really light, which is good, but you need to be able to adapt it with cars that take a big battery. So this is a nice aluminum piece, very lightweight, and it's included with every battery. Hopefully everybody uses it, because I paid a lot of money for those things to include them in each shipment, because most people wouldn't do that, but I just feel like you shouldn't get something that's incomplete and not usable. Okay, finally here we have the battery itself. This is a LiLead lithium battery. So it's actually lithium. That's kind of crazy. So a lot of the advantages that lithium is going to have, it's kind of going to be like your phone. It can hold charge for a really long time. It can go dead and then you charge it back up all the way and it'll just work. Like an iPhone, of course, if you discharge it all the way, a whole bunch of times it'll, like, you know, drop capacity to 80% and all that good stuff. But it'll take a long time. And when do you ever really discharge one of these batteries all the way? Really, to me, it was about having the option to discharge it. So if I needed to run something, I wanted to be able to use good capacity and not worry about the life of my battery, because I tend to kill batteries for some reason. So here, warranty information. Little sticker, of course everybody wants to put those on their car. And here's the battery. So as you can see, it's really lightweight. I think it weighs like 14 pounds. I'll do a more complete review on these where I'll weigh it and stuff, but right now this is about making sure it works with my wife's car. Then it'll work with my car, and then that will drop my weight and stuff. It'll be all good. So anyways, at 13.1 volts right now. This is just the way it comes from the factory. Just going to give you a little overview of it. It's got 2 negative terminals, 2 positive terminals on the other side. And the other thing that's nice about this is it's lithium. It can be mounted in any orientation. IP67 rated. It can do just about anything. It's pretty indestructible, and it's just a really good battery. I mean, it's expensive, but I feel like it's worth it if you don't have to replace the battery all the time, because this should last you the amount of time that what you would go through, you know, 10 normal lead acid batteries. You can swap it from car to car. You can do everything if it does everything it's supposed to do. So I'm not saying run out and buy one. I'm just reviewing it. I actually haven't sold any of these because I don't really not confident enough in it to really like fully recommend it, but we'll see. Works great in the Pilot. We'll see what it does in the Challenger. And this is the battery she currently has. It's an Odyssey Extreme. This is you know, it should be rated higher than the other one, but the problem with this battery is I sang the tune for these batteries. I thought they were the best ever. It's the big police battery. It weighs like 60 pounds, but I put one of these in my car and it died. So I don't know why, but the damn thing died. It died. So it was at Pites and he had to buy me a new battery. So that part sucks. So I used to think these batteries were the best ever, but you know, mine died, and this is a $400 battery. So this isn't cheap. This is 400 bucks. So I'm only replacing it with a battery that's a little bit more expensive and a lot lighter. All right, got this battery out. This thing is crazy heavy. It weighs like 60 pounds. It's ridiculous. Okay, just got the battery in. So these are the terminal covers for that. I'm just gonna leave them back here just so they don't get lost anywhere, in case we ever need them again. And you can see I got the little adapter. I probably should have showed this before I put the battery in, but the little adapter's in there. It tucks nicely underneath the stock battery bracket, so it holds in the frame really, really well. So it's really in there. Then I put the little supplemental strap over here, and then just use the factory strap here to kind of double it up, and it's pretty secure. I have no concerns about that going anywhere. So I guess one of the nice things about this, you can always push it and see how much voltage you have available. I guess we'll just see if it works. So this is going to be the moment of the truth. Will this LiLead lithium battery crank this big 392? If it'll crank the 392, it gives me confidence it'll crank the 426. I can put it in my car and drop those like 30, 40 pounds, because that's a big deal. Especially to get it for, not for free, but you know, for no consequence other than just money. So it's like putting a carbon fiber hood or something like that. Anyway, let's turn it on. Wow, that was rather uneventful. You can see the batteries there at 13.8, 13.9 volts. I'm gonna just cruise this around the block, and then we'll see how it changes when we get back. Alright, so checking out the battery back here. It says it's at 13.8 volts. As you know, it cranked the car just fine, so I think I'm done with this install. I would call it successful. So there you have it. Just installed this lithium battery in my wife's car, and it's so far it's working good. We're at 13.9 volts. Let's turn it off and then watch it turn on again. See, it cranks it with zero issues, and it's at 13.8 volts. I think it needs to charge a little bit, but even when it's low, apparently it was at 13.1 and it started the car just fine. So one of the things that I've done a lot of research into batteries, but one of the things that you'll find is that the cold cranking amps rating, most lithium batteries can't meet those cold cranking amps ratings, so the ratings tend to not be as high. But the way that test is measured isn't very fair for lithium, is because they kind of aren't as good at supplying power the way that test is done, because that test was like designed for acid batteries. So anyway, that's what I always hear, that's what everybody says, and it's kind of proven that, you know, that little battery is cranked this, you know, big car. It's a 392, so if it cranks at 392, pretty sure it'll crank just about anything. I mean, actually, I don't know why it wouldn't. I mean, it's maybe something higher compression or something like that, maybe my 426, but as far as like factory cars, I think this is the biggest motor sold in a car, and it turned this one on. So I don't know, tell me what you guys think. Tell me if you want to see any like experiments, any tests with this battery. I'll put a link to if anyone wants to buy one in the description, but you know, the whole point isn't to sell them, it's to try to learn more about them and make sure that they're a good product, because once I believe in it a little bit more, then that's the way I like to sell stuff. I like to sell stuff that I think is actually good. And so far, I think this battery is good. So I'm not telling everyone to go around and buy one, but you know, it does seem to be working well. And in this car, and I've had it in my Pilot for like a year or something like that, and it's been great. So we'll test it in this car now. I'll report back in a few weeks or whatever, and have my wife report back and see if the battery's been perfect. The big difference should be you should be able to, like, you know, not care about it as much. If it dies, you should jump it and it should be like just as good as it was. But it really shouldn't die. I mean, it'll die if you obviously deplete all the energy out of it, but even if it did, you would be fine. You can essentially use the complete capacity out of these batteries without really harming them, and that's something you can't do with the acid batteries, and that's pretty cool. And it's a lot lighter. So I just dropped the weight of her car like 40 pounds, 45 pounds about. So that's a good weight savings for, you know, essentially no consequence other than the money. But the battery should actually be more effective, and it should be better at just sitting for long periods of time than an acid battery. And of course, we know this battery is good with the heat. We're all good. Anyway, that's going to be it for now. I know this is kind of an odd video. I just wanted to show the battery and kind of see what you guys thought of it. And again, if you want to see any experiments, I got her old Odyssey battery out of the car now. And I'm probably going to just throw that on the charger just to make sure I don't kill it. And maybe I'll just do some experiments, some comparisons or something like that. I don't know. Or maybe I'll put it in my car. I don't know what I'm going to do. But that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you guys think of the battery. Weight reduction, good. This would probably be especially good for like people with Hellcats that like to run the fan Maybe I'll see if I can sponsor B Mason with one or something like that, and we'll see how it works for him, because I know he would probably be able to use a weight reduction too. So we'll see. Peace.
Just a pilot in his cockpit seated. Black leather on his ass, keep a hustler heated.